For long centuries, Greece was under the rule of the Ottoman Empire. The entire 19th century passed for the Greeks in wars and uprisings. For poets, the Greek struggle was an example and source of inspiration, as it was for Lord Byron. Victor Hugo dedicated his poetry to the terrible massacre on the island of Chios in 1822, and Delacroix his monumental canvases. 100 years later, Greece was independent, but not completely. The gathering of lands, enosis, continued for a long time still. The islands, scattered across the Ionian and Aegean seas, passed from hand to hand, fell under external administration, and became arenas for battles between armies during World War II. Near the Turkish coast lies the island of Kastellorizo, also known as Megisti, and next to it is another, uninhabited one, not so much an island as an uninhabited rock. Its shape resembles a letter of the Greek alphabet, hence the name, Ro. Back in the Hellenistic period, the Greeks built a watchtower there, and in 1788, Lambros Katsonis, a Greek corsair in Russian service, stopped near Ro with his flotilla. This exhausted the history of the small island until the 20th century. The Dodecanese, literally 12 islands, is the name of a group of chaotically scattered islands in the southern part of the Aegean Sea. Kastellorizo is the farthest of all. It takes a long time to reach the nearest Greek island, Rhodes, much longer than reaching the Turkish coast. From the island of Ro, you can only see Kastellorizo and that same Turkish coast, and there's hardly anyone to look anyway. The island was uninhabited for many years. In 1913, the population of Kastellorizo rose up and overthrew the Turkish administration. But just 2 years later, the island had different occupation authorities. France and Great Britain, dissatisfied with the pro-German course that Greece was about to take, occupied part of the islands. From 1920, French colonial stamps with overprints circulated on Kastellorizo, and a year later, the island passed to Italy under the terms of the Treaty of Sèvres. The island's name was changed to the Italian manor, Castelrosso. Calamities plagued the inhabitants throughout. Devastating earthquakes, then war. In 1941, the British landed on the island, but then retreated under pressure from the Italians. And in 1943, the island was subjected to German bombardment. Almost all the inhabitants left Kastellorizo and lived in refugee camps in Palestine until the end of the war. Almost, but not all. Despina Achladioti moved to the uninhabited island of Ro. Her husband, her elderly mother, and several goats went with her. One day, Despina raised the Greek flag, and from then on she raised it every morning. A few years later, her mother died, then her husband. Despina buried them on Kastellorizo and returned to Ro. Only the inhabitants of the larger island knew about Despina. Her hermitage was considered a charming eccentricity, until a new political crisis began. Despina Achladioti moved to the uninhabited island of Ro. Her husband, her elderly mother, and several goats went with her. One day, Despina raised the Greek flag, and from then on she raised it every morning. A few years later, her mother died, then her husband. Despina buried them on Kastellorizo and returned to Ro. Only the inhabitants of the larger island knew about Despina. Her hermitage was considered a charming eccentricity, until a new political crisis began. In 1974, a coup took place in Cyprus. Immediately after this, the Turkish army invaded northern Cyprus and occupied half the island. The Greek flag that Despina Achladioti raised every morning in direct view of the Turkish Coast Guard took on new meaning. Newspapers began writing about the elderly patriot, giving her a resounding name, the Lady of Ro. In 1975, Despina fell ill and was hospitalized. The island was left unattended. A Turkish journalist took advantage of this, who apparently had until then been afraid of conflict with the 84-year-old Greek woman. He sailed by motorboat to Ro and planted the Turkish flag there. But soon Despina returned, restored the Greek flag to its place, and a warship began to patrol off the coast of Ro. From that time on, she definitively became a legend, no less than the greatest fighters for Greek freedom.
The Lady of Ro did not quite live to see her 100th birthday. Despina Achladioti was buried on this tiny patch of land where she had lived for 40 years. Greek children are told about her in school, and every morning a small garrison stationed on the island of Ro raises the flag of Greece.